Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Hiya.
Not yet.
With you? No? Not yet?
Almost. We're getting close.
All right, say when.
We're being abused by government and we need to stand up and fight for our freedoms because it's all based on lies what they're doing.
Before I begin narrating, please note that for purposes of adhering to this platform's terms of use and guidelines, the term crown illness will be used when referring to the 2020 pandemic outbreak. The abstract that I'm about to narrate with you came from a screenshot that someone made before the paper was removed. Before proceeding with what I'm about to narrate, I initiated a back-end search via the U.S. Library of Medicine National Institutes of Health, their database. I searched the PMID number 32668870. The search result took me directly to the page with the paper's title, quote, 5G Technology and Induction of Crown Illness in Skin Cells, unquote. Directly underneath the title of the article that they removed is a message that states, quote, ahead of print, article withdrawn by publisher, unquote. This is the abstract. July 16th, 2020, PMID 32668870.
Ready.
Hiya. Who's new with you? Happy New Year. It's 2023. January
Can you believe
1st.
it?
Oh my goodness. I can. No, it's still surprising. So, Joe, you've been having fun making a new opening reel.
Yeah. It's an old one that I've reconstructed, and our friend ManKinder, and he's good at video. That's one thing. He's
Yes.
really good at video, and so he helps with that. And Bangladesh, my man from Bangladesh. So I've kind of reconstructed
We are
it,
worldwide.
and using it. We used to use it for another platform called freemediacoalition.com. And that was an effort kind of similar to InfoWind, just on it with a different group, and it was quite interesting. So actually it was, a transition. Free Media Coalition, InfoWind, New News, kind of the same thing, really. So it was cool. And but yeah, I saw that, talking about that video somebody put in the chat. Shannon, I think, put it in the chat. We might want to talk about that tonight, in terms of it's something we could take a break and play, because that video is about 20 minutes long, and it talks about the American propaganda, the machine of the propaganda, how they legalized it in our country. And it's really, really sad the way they're using it. So mainstream media is owned by 5 corporations approximately. And we've all heard this before, but what can we do about it? In our group, we talk about a lot of different solutions, and that's what Michael will get into tonight, and the panel tonight with their ideas and their solutions So with that, Michael, you go ahead and take it away.
All right. Welcome aboard, dear friends, ManKinders, and people in general. So I'm delighted to see Teresa. She sent me a nice Happy New Year message. So I said, hey, you want to join us on this thing? I never know who's really understanding what we've been up to. We've been up to it for a long time and haven't really pushed hard to bring more people on our calls. We've been finessing the approach and the strategy. And Gertrude and I spoke yesterday with some really good news that I have wanted to share with Orit. Orit and Gertrude have been regulars on my wacky ventures for some many weeks or months. I don't know, I've lost track. And Joseph has just been such a huge breath of fresh air and improved quality to what we've been doing. And then Laura's joining us, and I don't quite recognize Laura. So as Laura's the newbie in our crew,
Hi,
to hear
hi
from
everyone.
Laura whenever
Yes, I
Laura's
am new.
available.
Hi, yes. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy
Yes,
New
I am
Happy
Year.
New
new.
Year, dear.
I just heard about this through the parents group. I was recently added to that group, so it's my first time in this chat. Thank you guys for having this opportunity to talk to
Thank you.
normal people.
We're pretty abnormal, and that's a benefit.
Yes.
So did you say through Karen's group?
Um.
Karen Ravitz?
Let me see. It was the Parents for Freedom group. It was the link was in the Parents for Freedom group, and I thought, oh, that's
Oh,
interesting. I want
yes,
to
yes,
join.
yes. Signal group, yes.
Yes.
Great people doing great things there. Yeah.
Thank you for letting me join the
So
group,
Laura,
and I'm hoping
absolutely.
to learn and share a lot of things.
What area are you in, Laura?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Which neighborhood?
Los Angeles in California, Los Angeles.
It being from there myself, I think of it as a very large area. So I was just asking what part of Los Angeles you might be in,
Oh, um, it's
but you don't have to tell me.
a city called Downey, but a lot of people are not familiar because it's a
Oh
small
yeah,
city.
I know Downey.
Hmm.
I know Downey.
Yeah, I know Downey
I was
too. She's between us, Michael.
Yep. I was working with music project, and we were performing in that area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
So
like I
Laura,
said, sorry, go ahead.
what's your focus, madness of our world over the last couple of years? What are your main interests?
Oh gosh. I I just I just wanna, live my life and not have to fear so many things happening that I don't understand why everything's happening, and it's frustrating because um like they're doing all these things, and they're I feel like they're cornering us in, and I don't want to live my life like that. I don't think that God put us on this earth to live like that. I know that we all have a calling, I want to find mine, and I want to help others that maybe feel the same way that I do. To
Well, you're right about all that. Um, yeah, I could go into a lot of detail about why I think things are happening the way they're happening, but at this point, sometimes it's a shorter road to just focus on what are we going to do about it. Um, are are you a mom?
yes. So
And
yes, I think
what's been your interaction?
about the future for the children. What's the future gonna be like? I don't
Well,
want them to
it's up
have.
to us.
Huh? What's that?
It's really up to us. And what we're all about is separating from the paradigms of the mainstream system and creating our own reality, our own world, our own alternatives to what's going on in the mainstream. And that's really the happy punchline, is that we can do that. And the more people we pull together, the better we can do it, I believe. A lot of folks are more accustomed to doing solo action, but I myself am all about doing group action, coordinated group action. What have you found through the parents group that has been the most inspiring or productive from your perspective?
Well, like I said, I recently was added, and so I haven't had that much chance to interact with everyone. But it's just nice to know that there's other people out there that think the same way I do, that are not um like blinded by so many things that are going on. And I
Right.
feel like there's like you were saying, like strength in numbers, and the more people that are aware and can unite to just have community, because with all this stuff that's been happening, the world seems like a more lonely place. Like, yeah, you're surrounded by people, but it it's lonely, and so many people are just going along with everything and not realizing other things. So it can get pretty frustrating and a bit depressing.
Absolutely. What would you say has been your main business or skill set? What are you best at?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. Um, well, I like to talk to people, like try to help to educate people as to what's going on, but it's kind of hard because some people they don't even want to listen. They're just like this, or they think that you're a bit. They think that you're crazy, so it makes it a bit harder.
Yeah, but those folks we have to just ignore, in my humble opinion. What do you think, Artie? What's the right orientation to those sorts of issues?
Find communities that are aligned, and yeah, do what we do here. Get together, talk about things, get empowered by others. Yeah, we may not see everything eye to eye. That's okay, as long as we have solutions that we can offer to each other or we can share with each other, and then step in and do it. Yeah, everyone thinks that I'm crazy too, and that's okay. I have no problem with that. One of my students who decided to get that poison is now very sick. Hopefully she'll recover from this, but yeah, and I can't tell her I told you. I don't want to tell her I told you, but I did tell her. So we just need to stay our course, and if we need to create an alternative society, then we will. It's that simple. Well, it's not simple to create a whole new society, but when you know how it is said that necessity is the mother of creation, we will create it. We will do it.
Yep.
Where are
We
the
are
rest of Where are the rest of you guys located?
Well, I would like to
so
offer a little bit
from
of a little bit of commentary on the question.
there you go.
The
Joseph is in Iowa, by the way,
Yeah.
and so he's chiming in from
yeah
the
Midwest. Yeah, and yeah, I was you know, your question really is what, you know, you're in fear about everything, and I completely get it, but what we have right now, and you asked why is this happening, is because they have invested trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars into surveillance equipment around the world. And so basically they're not going to let this whole system fall, and they're going to do whatever it takes to surveil you from the time you're born to the time you die. And they have invested, like I said, trillions and trillions of dollars, and they're not about to give that up. So everything that they're doing is to put your children on a psychological footprint of carbon footprint, taxation, global warming, fear. It's a system that they've invested in for the last 50 years, and it's just now coming to what they call 5G. And 5G is a simple, big surveillance program.
It's actually a weapon.
Right. On top of that, it's a radiation weapon. And so we know that there is it's a radiation and psychological, really, in a way, but more there's a physical damage that's coming to our minds, and many people are affected by it if they don't take precautions and learn about the health foods that'll help you, take your vitamins, do your exercise. Basically, we've been through 100 years, and we haven't really done a good job with our children. I see people coming into America thinking it's all great, and it's nothing. They're just coming into a big propaganda market. And so that's what I feel about this country. And I feel that people have made their choices. So Laura, you have your choice going forward. You know, we can't continue to go down the same roads of Hollywood and letting our kids get involved in all this bullshit that's in America. You have to start talking to your kids and get them off that grid. Otherwise, our kids are just going to fall down the same rabbit hole everybody else did for the last 150 years. So that's my 2 cents. So hope that helped.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's definitely so many things. Obviously, I think most of us are just trying to live our lives day to day, so we don't have time to see like what the government is doing and what this company is doing and what that company is doing. And I think everything should be optional. Like if some people don't care. I have an acquaintance that said to me, I think she has that watch, that Apple Watch, and I told her, like, why do they need to measure? Why does that company need to know your heart rate and like other things. And she said, I don't care. I'm not doing anything bad. And my thinking is, okay, you're not doing anything bad. That's fine, but it's your privacy. Like, why do? And then unknowingly, we give them also data without knowing. Like I got the phone that has Face ID, and maybe like 3-4 years later, I realized that I shouldn't have done that. But at the time, it was a cool new thing, right? So everybody was doing it. And now that I've learned more things about all these things, I feel like I shouldn't have done that. But at the time, I didn't know. And then I tried to share with some people and some friends and relatives, and they all think like I'm exaggerating. And why would they do that? And how are they going to benefit from doing that? And those are exactly questions that I don't have answers for. So then I guess they kind of beat me at the argument. And it's tiring to like be fighting with those people that don't understand, that don't want to think beyond what's going on. So sometimes it's just like, I'm not going to spend my energy. I want to share it, but if they don't want to hear it, it's hard. And I feel like being in California is one of the states that got the most crap. And I wish I could get out of California. Everybody's like, oh, just move out of California. Well, it's not that easy to go to another state and start from scratch, and everything. And then plus, there's. Thank you. So it's a bit complicated. Like some people have said, oh, just move out of California, or some people that I know have moved out of California. And it's like some people can do it and some people can't. So the ones that can't just get up and go, there's got to be like exactly like this group and other groups that we can all unite and do something and protect ourselves. And like I noticed too, like so many cameras everywhere, and at first it's like, oh, they're for your protection, and it's like, oh, that's cool that they're trying to protect me, and then you find cameras like every single place, and it's like, really? Do they need a camera? They're almost going to put a camera in a fitting room?
Right.
There are actually more cameras. There are more cameras per capita in the United States than anywhere in the world, actually. Surveillance cameras, specifically. So the United States has been set up and designed to be taken down. And unfortunately, those who've had resources to leave California have often been doing so. And those are the people whose money and success we really need to help protect California. And many of us believe that as California goes, so goes the United States and so goes our world. So I'm pretty serious about my commitment to save California. And it's been slow going these past couple of years that I've been on the tack, finding the right people to really coordinate and collaborate effectively. But I'm feeling really good about 2023. I just have this feeling that we've turned a corner and we're going to accelerate pretty quickly henceforth. And the folks on this call in particular have given me a lot of support and encouragement and confidence, but also just the general feeling out there in the world is, eventually folks reach a breaking point and say, no, that's enough now. And we'll tend to run out of the old methodologies that they've been accustomed to, and start to look for another way of doing things. And that's what we need, because the old ways of doing things have not generated optimal results yet. I want to hear from Teresa. I'm delighted that you joined us. And folks, I met Teresa at Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels' home back in mid-May in Las Vegas, and she's an alternative health expert, and recently attended an interesting conference that you can tell us about, and maybe tell us your perspective on stuff in general, Teresa.
Okay, and where are you located, Teresa, please?
Las Vegas. What about you guys? Are you all from California? Are you all from California? Okay, so I noticed can you guys hear me real well? Okay. I've noticed that since this whole thing with California, in my perspective, is that this is a planned event. You've got direct energy weapons pointed at the trees, burning them inside, causing the fires, causing more people to come to California. So, I mean, from California to Las Vegas. So we're really like congested now. And then you've got the weather, control from HARP that's, causing things to happen more so, and causing a displacement of homes, and more people are coming to Las Vegas as well. So we got a lot of people here now, and they want everybody to this is going to be this is projected to become a 5G town, and they've got more and more cameras up all over. I've noticed more and more popping up. There's a big giant building that I noticed, and all these years I've been driving around, I've noticed that there's a big building when you go down 215, like 215 and Jones. It's a company called Switch. This thing is so large, massive building. And then they have another big, massive building, Switch as well. And I found out that building is for surveillance. And it's not about the casinos, cheaters and all that. No, it's about surveillance of the people. And so a lot of people are getting duped into thinking, hey, and I'm going to add to what Laura had said about ancestry, like the people that are volunteering information, and they think, oh no, this is okay, I have nothing to hide. Well, ancestry.com is one of them. You're adding information, and you're giving it to them to add more to your chip. You've got Ancestry, you've got Facebook, you've got anything that you add into the collective computer, is going into these chips that they want to put into people. And I saw Whole Foods has I saw a thing today or yesterday about Whole Foods having these little scanners. When you walk into the store, they scan you, your barcode when you go in, and then they're wanted to be like China, where, oh, you get your groceries and isn't this cool? I go out, get my groceries, and then I leave, and then it scans what you have in the cart and takes it out of your account. Well, I think this is horrendous. So what we can do is, one, don't shop there. Any place that wants to scan you and make you into some kind of like a Borg, or scan you as a barcode. Barcodes decode to 666, number 666. And I had a book on it. I can't even tell you how this is figured, but barcodes all stand for 666. So that's the mark of the beast. You get your little chip, and everybody, goes, it's a bad scene. So that's what I wanted to add, is to watch out for that. And I also have a list of things, if you guys want to talk about the crown illness. I have a whole list of things because I go to all of the medical conventions, like American Naturopathic Medical Association. I've been to this weird thing. Lori, funny, we're drinking out of the bowl. I'm sorry. Okay, so crown. So
we're family. It's all good.
I know. I just it's hard to I see it. Okay, never mind. But I saw regarding crown illness. I go to American Naturopathic Medical Association, and then also the bio conference, and then the A4M. And I've talked with a bunch of different doctors, that we've all gotten together and put a list together of all the things that you can do for the crown illness. So if you guys want a list, I've got it. And what's so good about this list is you can look it up yourself, do your own research, and find out what you want to do, what you want to use. But I have things that destroys blood clots that you can do, things to avoid protein spikes, in any way to get your taste buds back, if you've had the shot. So I noticed that from what I've learned recently is that I have this thing called the Genius Biofeedback Unit, and that unit, you can actually scan somebody's aura, and when the aura shows up gray, that means, like they say, that when you've had the shot, that your aura turns gray, and that it doesn't come back. And that if you haven't had the shot, if you do frequency work, that you can get your aura back. I don't know if this is true or not, but all I can say is I have the unit and I've been scanning people, but I haven't had anybody scanned that has had the shot, because nobody's allowed to come at my house unless if they've had the shot, they can't come in. So I haven't scanned anybody for that. But anyway, if you guys want to, if it's, you want me to share the list with you about the bioweapon, crown illness, taste and smell, to return that back and all of that, I can share it with you guys. I like to share information that's productive right now, because we need it, Yeah. Anybody have anything to add?
How's Las Vegas?
I should start talking.
Well, I'm curious, because I was so inspired by our conversation at Sandra's, and you've been a busy lady since we met. But how's Las Vegas feeling in terms of, there's a good strong batch of leaders there around Sandra. How are you feeling as far as I'll just call it a health, truth, and freedom community?
Well, most all of my friends are all patriot types, and we're studying this thing called to become a state national sovereign, and that's a big thing right now, because we want to. That's a whole other top. I want to talk. I could talk about that, but that's something that you can do to pull out of the system, and to you just have to learn, and be confident, understand, and so it seems pretty cut and dry to me, but a lot of people, I think it might be too much for them. I don't know. But as far as we've been very focused on that process here. We've been very focused on that. And then I talked to your friend Walt about electrocultivation, and that's very important, because right here in our neck of the woods, we have no lightning. And so we want to be able to bring life back into the soil so we can grow our own food. That's electrocultivation. And he teaches how to bring that life back to the soil, and how to make soil from the dirt, because we've got dirt here. Nothing's going to grow. It's not going to grow. It's just like sand, Yeah. So.
Great.
I'll keep quiet.
Gertrude is. Thank you, dear heart. Let's definitely follow up on all of that. I definitely want to integrate what's happening by you with what we're doing here, if you have time. I feel that what we have been leading up to is a serious sort of delegation structure, where in which people have an opportunity to exercise their best skills and help others to find opportunities to be effective and more successful. The more people we pull together, the both we'll be happier and more successful together. So there's 5 main map-based networking website systems that I'm quite fond of: Freedom Cells, the Thrive Solutions Hub, and a few others. And trying to pull together in mutually supportive alternative communities, I feel is really, really, really important. And if we have a structure of stuff to do and accountability and unified strategy, I feel we can be a lot more effective. Gertrude is developing a property in Julian, California, and Ari and I were at this because Gertrude had an opportunity the day after we had this big epic conversation about all the wonderful stuff going on in Gertrude's life. She got this really fun opportunity to do what she loves to do, which is sailing. And she was possibly going to do a very long distance, long time commitment sailing project, and that would have started this month, January. But she realized that she wasn't going to be optimally compensated for her work, and she decided to focus instead on her land and her projects. So I had held my tongue, not wanting to be critical of that wonderful opportunity, but it turns out that God agreed, and she's here with us. Gertrude, what's on your mind to share?
Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that introduction, and that is the truth of the matter. These are skills that I've been honing for the last 40 years as far as seafaring, and I do deserve compensation, and just recognizing that was a big step for me. Was a wonderful, I think, step in the right direction. I need to know my own worth and not accept anything less. And I think what's worth so much to me right now in my life is to build a place where you're all welcome and where we can help each other in many different ways. I really love what you're doing, Michael. I think your actions have been exactly where I am working towards. And it's a miracle that we have this connection via the internet now, because
You froze on us.
it's a ocean where we are a community, because you guys disappeared. But what I was saying was we are a community online long before we even meet each other in person, which is really a wonderful thing. And I have been really open to conversing with people who don't at all have my same views, religious or political or medical. And my goal with that is to listen and try to understand where people are coming from, but hopefully in that they will also listen to me and understand where I am coming from, And that is a perspective that may not be as well known right now, but I do believe it is growing. I think that we, as like a humanity across the planet, we've come to a rude awakening, I guess you could say. But of course, during this process, I'm seeing everybody flash in and flash out. I hope you guys are hearing me consistently. Is it working okay?
When we flash out, you're frozen on our end.
Okay. Okay. So I was pausing during the flashing away. So anyway, I was just saying, as humanity is going through these growing pains. It's just so important that sometimes we, as much as we can, really try to connect with other people, even if they're not exactly on the same page as us. But yeah, because I mean, it's so easy to change our minds too. I mean, we may learn and grow and become totally different people in 10 years from now. So just wherever someone is at this particular moment, I just hope that we can all accept that. And that's where I'm at anyway. I'm trying my best to do that, because we all are going to need each other at a certain point. This is how we are naturally as human beings. We are interdependent of one another. But I think we're in denial. We've been in denial about that for a while, and we've become so individualized that doesn't seem like a good concept, to have more of a group-oriented society. But I think we're heading in a direction where we're going to need that. So that's what I'm working towards, is to provide a space where that kind of thing can happen and people can actually thrive and do things like create art and music. It seems like an afterthought, but really, for me, it's the foundation of a good life. Just as much as food is. Art and food.
Yeah, could you give I know you could do this. So like, okay, the globalists and all these, what we're hearing, they want us to be the community under their umbrella of all this stuff that they're telling us is wrong, like with global climate change, and you got to do this, you got to do that. So the difference between you building your own life is different than, or us building our own communities is different. Could you explain the contrast of that, that? Because yes, but they preach that community, and some people say community is, communitarianism, to where it actually is used as a way to get people to do what they want. So we're under this communitarianism by the governments, right? They're telling us they want us to do this. So could you explain that contrast of what you were saying? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I any non-violent communication.
Gertrude, we got to get you a boat booster.
With anything. But yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, nonviolent communication is key. Also, conflict resolution is key in many different aspects of any kind of community or group. These are the cornerstones, and these are things that I wish we all knew at a very young age.
Yeah.
But It's never too late, as long as we're open to learn.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Hi, I wanted to ask, is there like a list or a resource that we can get like with more information about the group and what the plan of action is? Because sometimes it seems like we all want like the same goal, but it seems like if we work together in a more structured way, we might be able to get there faster. And it seems like time is not really on our side.
Very good points.
Based on all these mandates and all these things. And then today, it started that CARE Act, the CARE, CAIR thing with all these registries and stuff. And it just seems like they're coming to get us. They're wanting to get more and more and more information, and they're making it more hard to stay out of these systems. So that's something that like I was looking forward to the new year, but I was not looking forward to that thing starting on January 1st. And I just feel like it would be great if we could all like get together more often and like actually discuss a plan of action that we can all take to speed things up.
Yeah. I think everybody is, working really hard. I think everybody's working really hard doing what they do. And I think it's important, like, for instance, you could go live every day. You have to use the internet for your advantage. You could be telling your story every day of the week to thousands of people if you just do it. And create your own journey, and your journey.
This chat meets every day?
No, I was just saying that you could go live every day and tell the world, what you're doing. Because a lot of these people, the people that like the organizations such as Michael's and mine and some of the other people here, that's how they did it, is on social media. So, we utilized the tools that they give us, and broadcasters were sprung all over the world, which was really cool. So we can continue to grow, but just keep joining Michael's meetings on Sundays for sure, and Thursday nights, and we can teach you how to do, get your cameras right and all that stuff. And we'd love to have your input always. And that's part of the solution. I mean, first of all, like you said, we all got to come together on a consistent basis, and a very good point.
And maybe there is a freedom cell near you too. Have you researched that?
Yeah, I actually heard about them, but I haven't joined. I just recently heard about them, but I haven't researched that. But this group meets on a regular basis, because this is my first time, and I would like to join in. And I'm glad that it's not through Zoom, because I see like a lot of freedom groups and things like that are going through Zoom, and it's like Zoom is them.
Yeah, it's all surveilled. Trust me.
Yeah, this one too. But as long as they let us have conversations, then we are going to take advantage of that. Yeah.
So.
But I still don't get like, what's the point of seeing like everything you do, like where you eat, where you go, like if you sleep or don't sleep, or what's the point of it? Like, I don't understand how they can make money with that.
I think they're
it's
building.
Not about money. It is not about money. They have all the money in the world that they can have. It's about control.
Yeah, they do like control.
Just look what's happening in China. That's what they want all over the world. Yeah. Your camera on your cell phone takes a picture of your face every few seconds, and that translates into facial recognition. That's what it does. New gadgets that you get at home now have all kind of ways to spy on you. People have Alexa and Google, hey Google, in their homes. That's all surveillance equipment.
Yeah, and your television, but so I guess her concern is, and this is the concern of many people. Okay, so we're already stuck in this matrix. We're using their program, and here they are coming after us. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
And it's a valid concern because they're arresting journalists for reporting on certain subjects around the world. People have been killed over the last 2 years. More journalists have been killed in the last 2 to 3 years, and also under Obama, there was a bunch killed because of some laws that they put out there. And then we talked about this propaganda legislation that they put out in 1948. The MUD Act was put in one of the chats, and that's a great video. Really good information. I don't know. We're getting some feedback somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from, but
That's probably because someone is not muted. So if we can mute ourselves, that would be great.
Okay.
It definitely feels very overwhelming. Like no matter what we do, they're always 5-10 steps ahead of us.
it's true. Yeah, it's a good concern. I think Gertrude has a solution possibly because I can see her smiling. So I love that. Let's see what she has to say. I think it's good.
Okay, well, I'm just wrestling with my cat. She keeps trying to turn on and off my microphone. Sorry. So,
dang, I wish her audio was coming in. Try not to move around too much while you're talking. That might help. So, just kind of be still. I don't know.
Okay.
We're just having a hard time with your audio, and I just wish we could hear you. So, go ahead.
I know. It's because of the Wi-Fi thing. And I never really get very good audio both ways. Sorry about that.
Well, we're not going to advertise your carrier then.
Okay, I'm going to mute again.
If I may, Laura, a lot of what you said can be shifted within you. I'm stepping into a whole different realm right now, but what you see around you is exactly what's happening within you. So if you can start looking at the bright side of things within you, it will help you to start seeing solutions outside of you, if that makes sense. And for me, the easiest way to teach it is wherever you are right now, just take a moment to look around and find something beautiful to look at. And just appreciate that. Just stay with that something beautiful for as long as you can and just appreciate it. And then find another thing. And then the next step is to go within and find something that you love about yourself and stay with that and allow it to grow within you. And you will start to look at the world differently and you will start to see solutions around you. And back to the kind of what people consider the regular realm, we also meet on Thursdays, which is more geared towards finding solutions and sharing solutions. And what else, Michael? What do we do on Thursdays?
We have special guests too, every now and then. So
yeah.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your advice because yes, a lot of times I feel very overwhelmed and very stressed about everything that's happening and upset that I can't do more, that I can't find a way, you know, like to be happy. Like I used to be a much happier person before all of this crap happened. And I do notice that I'm very depressed a lot of the time, and I want to do so many things, and I feel like I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And,
that's
there's not very
typical.
many people, and there's not very many people I can talk to regarding how I feel, because everybody has their life and everybody's going through their things. And like I mentioned, that a lot of people don't even believe the things that we know.
Yep.
And
that's exactly why we're here on Sundays, to support each other through that.
So
It's not
kind
easy.
of with most of the friends I had, now our conversation is very superficial, because they have one belief, and they want to impose their belief on me, and I don't agree. And then I kind of want to tell them, you know, don't do this, don't do that. But then they've, like many of them already said, like, I'm gonna just follow along. So like I do have a few friends, but the friendship is not like it used to be. And then I've also lost many friends and relatives, and not to death, but to this whole thing. And that's very sad too. So, and then I feel like a big burden, because I feel very sad for the children, like for us too. But at least, you know, we've lived, we've traveled, we've enjoyed our lives to some degree. But the children, you know, they're innocent, and they're counting on us. And I feel like we're letting them down. I don't want my child to be a prisoner in a digital jail.
Well, Laura, your concerns and perspectives are certainly broadly felt, and there is a lot that we can do about it. The fact that you've reached a frustration level and are asking, and you showed up, is a big step, and most people aren't doing that. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
One of the things that I've done throughout my life is helped other people to find their path, maximize their potential. So I have a whole process of questions that I ask, and you know, sometimes it can be scary. But all of this is scary. Doing nothing to me is scarier than trying something new. But that's me. I would rather try something new. So, you know, when I ask folks, well, show me your resume, and they don't have a resume, or, well, what did you always want to do? Like, my favorite question is, what did you want to do when you grew up, but when you were 5 years old, before the school system screwed you up? And often in that first young person's dream is a little kernel of an amazing idea that they may have forgotten about. But often folks don't remember that far back. So then, you know, what's pressing for you in your life right now? And what are your skills, your resources? What would you like to do if you had, you know, if you had a wish, right? And then based on where you're at and who you know and what your skills are, for me, at least, it's easy to at least make a suggestion of something you could do to plug in and help yourself and help others. The good people want to help others, not just help themselves. And those are the kinds of people.
I didn't hear most of what you said, because all the cameras went black. All of the cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Black.
You're frozen too.
Trying to listen.
I'd like to add something.
Well,
Okay, sorry.
Well, fortunately, you'll be able to rewind and Ori, did you say you wanted to add something?
Teresa
I
did.
did. Yeah, I'd like to add something with
Teresa
what
did.
Laura
Chime in,
was
Teresa.
saying. Isn't it? Oh, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Michael has a
Perfectly.
little delay, so that's
Oh,
what's happening.
can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
so I wanted to add something to what Laura was saying, in that you're not the only one that's going through all this. I mean, I feel this exact same way. Pretty much everybody does. We all do. And the thing is, if you're wanting to help your children, out of the slave system that they're actually in, it's not like, oh, we're going to get into the slave system. We've been in a slave system. I recommend listening to David Lester Straight. There's a thing called Out of Babylon, and it carries you through each step of getting your children out of that whole system. And I think that's really important. Then also the yellow star on our driver's license. That thing is anyway, the yellow star is a way for them to glean more information and get it funneled into more. There's something insidious about it. The yellow star, don't do it. But they put all of our personal data onto there, and then that's how they're going to put it all on the chip as well. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
What was the name that you said? David what?
David Lester Straight, Out of Babylon. Well, he's got other lectures, but I like Out of Babylon. David Lester, and then Straight, like straight arrow.
David Straight. David Straight, like a straight line.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Where is he? What?
Has a lot of.
You can go on YouTube.
David Straight has a lot of.
Yeah, you can look at it. Look for him on YouTube. On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And he's got lectures, and when you start to listen to that, you'll see he's got super clever things to do for children. I really love him, and yeah, just that's very eye-opening, and you'll see what you'll see what you're dealing with truly. People, that's all. I just wanted to make sure you knew about it.
Okay, yes, I wrote it down. I'll look into it. Thank you. I did not know. I did not know about that YouTube. But yes, I feel very overwhelmed many times, and I feel like it's affecting my health.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
it's real.
I've gotten 20 times more white hairs in these past 3 years than like my whole.
Yeah. Well, breathing into the belly and finding something beautiful to look at and focus on, not just look at, but really bring all your senses to focus on that. And that start to find beautiful things within you, which I'm sure are plenty.
And we will be here for you anytime. Yeah. Wow.
Are you guys there? I got back circled here. It's been really extra hard on me this year because I also lost my mom.
Oh, you're cutting out again here. So yeah, let's. We got a new person on. Let's move. And try and give Jack a little time here. And I believe this is Jack, one of my people that I know from some group here. I think he follows a bunch of groups that I'm in. And Jack has a lot of more political, I think, but I think he has some intelligence type stuff too that he talks about.
So can we let him talk?
Yes, if he's there.
Jack, can you hear us?
YouTube thing?
Say that again, Laura.
Is it like a YouTube thing, Michael, or something?
For what?
That name that you were saying, is it someone on YouTube also?
Mm-hmm. On David Lester Straight's on YouTube.
Okay.
Laura, I'm going to communicate with you through Signal because I saw your message come to me on Signal, and I'll fill you in on stuff, and we'll be able to converse more directly. Jack, your
Yes,
microphone
thank you.
is Jack, your microphone is unmuted. So if you speak, we should be able to hear you. Go right ahead.
No, something is not right with Jack's system.
Oh, he thinks he's not muted, so you got to check your microphone, Jack. But yeah, I mean, great conversation, and Laura just has so much. I mean, we all feel that, and
And we've all been there, right? We've all
Yeah.
been there. So
oh yeah, so it's an amazing time, but it's been a struggle for me for 2.5, 3 years straight, and through this bowl, and then like you said, Laura, things that are out there, but we can't just cow down and fear it all. We have to move forward and integrate and vibrate at a new dimension, because we can't go out there and annihilate the new world order. I don't think that's going to work, but we're going to go vibrate at a different level and do our thing and create our own, creativity as a powerful community or a commune of people that are just not wanting to submit to this particular matrix that they're presenting us. And so we're just moving in a different direction, if that makes sense. In a lot of different ways, like, self-help, giving yourself a way that you can meditate, like we were talking about earlier, and all that. So it's great. Well, I don't know what happened to Jack. He came out. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he was having issues.
yeah.
So that's too bad. Too bad.
Oh, and Laura dropped off too.
Maybe we give Teresa some more time to talk. Teresa, you have anything more? Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to, Teresa, but I just wanted to bring to your awareness that Laura is exactly why we're here on Sundays.
Yeah.
Stuff like, yeah, right? That's exactly why we're here, to offer support to those who are just at the beginning of this path, and to help them come on to the wagon.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, when it's as bizarre and intentionally overwhelming as this is, one doesn't even know what question to ask, except I want to do something and I don't know what I can do.
Right.
So actually developing a sort of a entry-level Truth Action 101 package would be a nice thing to do. And Laura, if you're still listening in, one thing I wanted to say is that I was intentionally making sure that the bottom scroll at the bottom of the screen said ManKinder.net. That is the one, the concepts that ManKinder has been espousing for these past few years, and it's a rough sketch. What we've been leading up to is having the set of people involved so that it wasn't about me and what I think ManKinder should be. Thus far it's just been my own personal sketch pad, and fortunately many organizations have been showing up and evolving and creating solutions and strategies and structures so that we don't have to do it all and take on the entirety of protecting mankind all by ourselves, that we can work with other organizations. And we've really just recently, over the past couple of months, been getting to the point where I feel that we've got a solid team that I can say, okay, guys, help me write this, help me structure this. What do we need? What am I missing? And so Teresa and Orit and certainly Gertrude and Joseph and Laura, for that matter, the entire point of ManKinder is to be open to input and be inclusive of perspectives. I love the way that Gertrude said it, and earlier. She's often proving to be more open-hearted and empathetic than I am, and I'm pretty far in that direction. But there are some things that I have a boundary on and have a barrier about. We were talking about certain music that many folks consider to be of satanic inspiration, and that there's some musics that I avoid, but that I have liked in my past, and that Gertrude doesn't want to believe could possibly be of nefarious intent. And when you think about it, so many folks are under influences that they don't even comprehend, and they're not intending to be doing the wrong thing. It seems like a good idea at the time, like text messaging. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh, I can send and receive messages even if I'm in a loud environment. It's very convenient, right? Until when we realize, oh, people are losing their ability to actually converse, and putting on a mask to so many people, millions of people, seemed like, oh, no big deal. I want to be safe. I want to protect people, until you realize what's really going on. So it takes a while for many of these things to prove out. So that balance between empathizing with where people are at, but trying to hold mankind to a higher standard and create better for our future. Teresa, what do you feel you would like to be doing more of in Las Vegas, where you're at, or through outreach? What do you feel that we as an organization, or that you as a person working with folks like to know? What are some of your dream ideas in that direction, if you can?
My focus has been mainly on health and bioenergetic scanning, and I just anything that has to do with sound and light frequencies and use. And I'm also in herbal medicine, in helping people learn to make their own remedies, so that they have it instead of having to deal with and depend on pharmaceutical drugs. And so I have, like I said, I have a really cool list that I got, that I've compiled to help in that, so that we can help people get well, and how to make things, yourself, instead of having to just buy it already made up in a bottle, So I've just there's a lot of people that are helping us to all learn about making herbal remedies and all of that. And I think that's just where things need to be, or need to go towards, because if you follow the pharmaceutical line of you're gonna end up being sick all the time, and a sick mind cannot think well. You can't think, you're not gonna, it's just you've got to have, in order to have our wellness inside of our mental health and be able to have critical thinking, we've got to be well enough to be able to do that in our energy. So meditation is a good thing too, but if you're not well, you're not going to be able to sit still long enough to even meditate. So it's like, where can you get in there? Where do you start? You just start wherever you can, and just just know that if you keep at it, it'll, and think positively, and look at what you're wanting in life instead of what you don't have, that you're gonna, that will at least attract to you what you're looking for, So I'm, like I said, I'm happy to share that list sometime with you guys. Let me know, and I'll make sure you get it. And
Thank you.
Love it.
Ori, let me bounce to you for feedback and thoughts.
Yes. Okay. Y'all hear me?
Jack is here.
Can you hear me now? Yes, you do. I can
Hello,
see
Jack.
it. Hello.
Sorry about that. But yeah, he was going to ask Arit a question. If you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead, Michael.
That's okay. Let Jack come in, and I can answer later.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Introduce yourself, Jack.
Hi, my name is Jack Michaels. I've known Joe on Facebook probably, I don't know, Joe, what, about a year and a half, 2 years, maybe longer?
Longer.
You're right, because time does fly for me online. Yeah, I'm basically, like any other American like y'all, trying to find the right research on the present issues. We have our medical intelligence that we all try to learn, because they're faced with the COVID restrictions, and all the Chinese are starting to board planes and go on holiday, and they're coming this way. So yeah, we're probably going to get a lot of that. Anyways, I don't really get into politics too much. I don't really I don't know. I really don't like any of them. I don't idolize them, or anything. If anything, like I do, I have a concern for my local community. I try to do what I can locally, but we've got really bad corruption here in Louisiana, and it's so bad. Like, inmates are beaten without restraint by guards. And I mean, they got like video footage for all that, and police said one of them's been indicted in my city for actually working another job for 6 months and charging our city of Shreveport that same time like he was working every day on patrol. So we got tons of that going on, and I really like to focus on this because I can't, personally, I can't, chase the issue of Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, that's political theater to me, but so many people are stuck on that, and I just think it's nonsense at this point. And really, I'm not concerned with it, but stuff like our voting, that's a real issue. I don't know if y'all seen during the last election, but I was seeing from various sorts of people literally recording their screen and the numbers fluctuating, different counties, subtracting votes and adding votes. And that's important, as far as Americans need, clarity or transparency on that. Yeah, that was some serious stuff. But there's so much suppression in our nation that either it's corporate or it's political, but, we experience it on every facet of our life when it comes to communications. And that's something that I do study, with a passion. Like, say with Facebook, we have you have your local hospital, okay? Well, our local hospital, there's a lot of abusive patients. It's a Medicare, Medicaid hospital, supposedly charity hospital, but they block everybody who tries to get help from them. And this is also validated by like hospitalinspections.org and other things. The people in the community, minorities, we try to make petitions and stuff like that, but there's no getting any help because the hospital itself, LSU Medical Center in Shreveport, they do not create any kind of grievance in the computer system, and they erase or just simply don't allow it. A grievance process for patients when they have complaints. So it's a torture factory, and people, like, they're going there for surgery. Like, one of my friends, everybody I know who is I guess socioeconomically disadvantaged or in the ghetto, I mean, whatever you want to say, a Medicaid recipient, like she went in for a surgery to get some meat cut like around her leg, and they cut too close to the bone. There's no possible way to get any kind of help, and there's no lawyers. Like, I've tried finding them in a tri-state area that ever attempt to even try to help, or they won't even recommend people they know. So it's that bad, you know. And
Well,
the hospital,
Jack,
yes, just be aware
Jack,
in your town.
if I may, yeah, I'm certainly familiar with the corruption in Louisiana. My co-founder was in Nolens. She's in Folsom, and that's Sterling Hill, MTHFRsupport.com, an associate of Judy Mikovits and many of our other top researchers. And she's certainly shared a lot of information with me, as she's had a vast history around Louisiana. The history of Auctioner, for instance, and
Auctioner Health
just a whole lot of political chicanery in Louisiana. It's a
yes, sir.
But honestly, as much as I would also agree with you about election inconsistencies, I believe that we are, by focusing on politics at all, we're missing the point of freedom in the United States. And as Teresa was referring to earlier, status correction to become a U.S. national and focusing on de jure government could potentially flip the script entirely, because the entire political system, the courts, lawyers, it's all so hideously corrupt the general public has no idea.
Yes.
So hiring a lawyer or going through the courts or waiting on better politicians to get elected is all a fool's errand in a lot of people's opinion. We're trying to pull out of those systems. Now, I noticed on your Facebook page that you've got a pretty strong involvement with the Department of Defense, Lockheed, CIA, the military. What are your preferred solutions for the challenges in this world? If those are your work affiliations, may I ask?
Yes, sir. What we have to do is we have to develop a say infrastructure, communication infrastructure that isn't controlled by these bad actors. Because what they do is, you know, if you have, like, say, we have a mayor, you know, and if you say anything bad about the administration or question them, say anything that's not positive or shows in a good interest, regardless of, you know, it being unconstitutional, they'll block you, you know, or they'll simply just filter out, you know, anything you could say or any negative comments. And the thing is, like online, we use that as a way to communicate with Facebook or any other social media. And there's these mechanisms in it that most of the public do not realize. You know, there's on Twitter, I don't know if anybody ever seen that, but there's options like to not even see people who don't have a verification. Like on Facebook, there's options to not even, you know, recognize or have any kind of notification, not even know the people talking to you, and just, you know, set it on like autopilot. Like you'll see a lot of mayors and governors and places like that. They'll set it on autopilot, fix it up to where they don't even have to communicate with the public. They do not read anything. And, you know, there's somebody else that they're paying to control that account. So we're just, you know, we're getting just streamlined a little bit of propaganda from their sponsors who, you know, gave them money for campaign contributions. That's what's happening with our governor, John Bel Edwards, because, I mean, of course, I've had, over the years, I've had to document so much, you know, of like, you know, real time investigative process, because like Governor Bel Edwards, you know, he's never been witnessed communicating like to any comments. And I've seen people comment, "Sir, I've been trying to get a hold of you because the people in my area, the nursing homes, you know, they're all dying, and they're my mom, they had nothing to drink, you know, and died and stuff like that." Like they're complaining, like real situations and scenarios, and they're just ignoring it. You know, when you have like any kind of government or authoritative figure, they take an oath of office. They're supposed to, you know, take like a pledge to uphold the Constitution. But if you, you know, just allow human suffering and you don't interact with the public, that's the big problem. People need to realize that whenever they're offering their praise and worship to these, you know, to these idols there, you know, because they're a mayor or something like that, if they do not communicate back with you or have no history of that, then that's a serious problem, because you're not even communicating with them. You're communicating with somebody else who's holding that phone. You know what I mean? And that's really not it.
Jack, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything you've described so far is parts of the same machine. And we're all aware of the problems and everything. What we're trying to do here is focus on solutions.
Yes, we have to expose them. The only way we're going to get through this is if, say, like 95% of the public isn't concerned with, just talking smack to the FBI, on social media, and talking about Hunter's laptop and moaning and groaning about election results. We need our other Americans to be like, hey, when one of us has evidence that they're actively ignoring atrocities or coordinating extensive outcry suppression of the general public in like a city, or an area, then we need to, we need to put that on a billboard, make the news stations run with it, because they're not doing that. In my city, and I've got this on record, I've got everything documented, recorded as far as my, city goes, because I want change. I have to have change. It's horrible here in Louisiana. But, I had the television, the news station, staff explain to me that, there's no reports of anything that don't go out without the direct approval of the sheriff. Okay.
Yeah, we know that. That's again part of the
free
machine.
press. That's not even free press.
There hasn't been free press in ages.
I know, right?
So what now? What do we do? How do we bring it out?
We have to. I mean, I'm not going to say revolt, but we have to definitely address these issues. I mean, I don't know any lawyers that will handle cases that are, in Louisiana. Like I'm stuck between. I've already went to the Department of Justice, their Criminal Investigations Division, the Human Rights Watch, the Department of Health. All of that is simply just non-communicative. It's like a wall, and there's no lawyers.
It's the same.
There's no lawyers here that will actually help.
It's parts of the same machine. It's been planned ages ago, and they all work in cahoot with each other.
Personally,
so part of the community, part of the public is aware of it, and a lot of the public is not. So you're saying bring it to the public. Great. How do we do that?
Well, the only solution that I can really think of, just me being me myself, and I'd have to definitely, get a little bit extra money for like body cam, so I don't just get, tackled and voted in jail. But to go and sit across the street from that hospital, have a sign, and a few tablets, my little Wi-Fi hotspot, and show people like, hey, here's a link to the site, and just have all the evidence of communication disruption that these people are coordinating together, and be like, hey, they've been ignoring these complaints. They ignore emails, they ignore phone communications. If you try to go to their office, you're going to get put in jail. Okay. Like they really do that to people. You can't even, like, there's people that, have serious, problems that happen because, like, there'll be like this one black guy. He's a member of a really super church kind of here, but he was complaining about, how they were kind of treating him, and they stuck him in jail without like a release date. Just kind of kept him, sitting there wondering when he was going to go for about a month and a half. And it was the sheriff and the mayor that did that to him with the church pastor. I mean, the things that's going on here, it's pretty bad. But my main goal at the very end of the tunnel for my specific section or specific, area, my state, is the interactions I've had and the things I've learned about the child services. My kids, because my baby mama, we weren't together, but she was pulled over. Okay. And she had children, but somehow she winded up getting, they found out she had been smoking marijuana. I don't advocate for it or nothing like that, but, they took the children. Okay. They're below the age of 6. They got violated. All right. My son and my stepdaughter. Okay. Before the age of 6. Well, they called me to court one day saying, hey, we seen you in court. I guess to strip away some rights or something. So I tell the social worker lady who is seeing me there at the same time outside the courtroom before it starts, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go in there and talk about these instances that, the children are reporting concerning the violation of their, their bodies and stuff like that. And they were making do a lot of bad stuff. And then she walked in that courtroom and then walked out a minute and a half later, said, "Oh, well, we canceled court today. We're not going to call you, and you don't have to come back." And I was like, oh my God, and all of our radio stations, our news stations, they do not report any of that. It gets worse than that, though. The 911 lines, okay? I've tried, like, going through the 911, the state police, the city police, the sheriff police, and all that. I've tried, so like making complaints or making a police report about police violence, through 911. You get hung up on, okay? That's a very big problem, and here in Canada, 318 area code, because you can call 911, and I tried getting help for the exploitation and the child services because I wanted to report to people because they should go to jail. So I had to get through, the system, and even if I was just going to get switched over, the thing is I realized that they would not, they just would not, they didn't care, and they would not accept complaints or file police reports of child exploitation. And that was a big problem because, every time after about 5 minutes, they'd hang up. So I started getting upset, I started, talking to them. And then I guess, just being more upset and kind of raising my voice and stuff, didn't threaten or nothing like that. And they said, well, we found out where you're at, because they tracked the cell phone that I was using. Because I done called 911 line about 15 times at that point, just, like in the last few days, trying to find what words I had to use to, get, the people locked up who violated the children. All right. Well, they threatened to arrest me. And I was at that point, had my phone, I was sitting down, I was stressed out because this has been going on for a very long time, not really able to get any help. And I was like, I said, well, come on and get me. You know where I'm at. Come on and get me then. I'm trying to report crimes against children. I hung up. They never came. Anyway, so after that, for the next few months, I tried the same thing for like thousands of times, but I had to take a SIM card out, change location, tracking ability on phone, so I could test communications at least a different way, rather than just get threatened or they hang up because they knew the specific device was coming through. But even at that point, I mean, they wouldn't allow any kind of police reports about the abuse of patients by the hospital police at LSU or the violation of children by child services. They don't allow it. So, we don't have 911 services. My sister was shot by her boyfriend recently, about 2 months ago. And she had been telling me, she's like, 911 doesn't even respond when I call him, and he's getting threatening and violent. He's already killed a woman with a gun, had been to jail for it, and now he's targeting me. And 911 won't even show up to my house or dispatch any cars when I call them. Subsequent to him killing her in cold blood, because no one would show up for her. So that's what they do. It's really what they do. And I mean, there's so much more than that, and thank you for at least letting me talk about it, because it's a real hard thing to hold on to. Most of the people who are grew up in the more impoverished sections or whatever, they know they've seen see the beating of people, or the false charges, or people going to court and not being able to actually get any justice. I've sat in a courtroom before. And, how you submit evidence before like a court case. Well, I was there, and I was there, and my evidence that I had submitted for that court, the deputy had come up to the judge with my stack of papers, all my evidence and proof and, facts. And he showed it to her. She said, "What's that?" Right there in the middle of court. Didn't even recognize my stack of papers. Okay. And what they ended up doing was my baby's mama, my child's mother, had we were in court because she had hit me in the head with something called 14 Staples, second-degree aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Well, since they had connections, lawyer connections, they simply just spent a little money on a lawyer, judge, and all them prosecutor just dismissed the aggravated second-degree aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Okay, I mean they dismissed it that charge, which that's like right there a step before murder, cold blood murder, and not only that they disregard. They gave me a pre-verdict in court, charged me for it, said that it would be $300 to process 30 minutes of court dialogue. And what we need as American citizens, we need the ability to point a camera at these judges during court so that everybody else can see them. Just allow, the evidence to come through that, they openly state they only know what it is. I mean, we need, God, I mean, what happened was she took the baby and she subsequently died. 3 months after that, she had some kind of fraud charge. She had borderline personality disorder and alcoholism. I tried to help her, go therapy with her. It wouldn't work because it was too strong. I dealt with a lot of abuse from her and violent anger outbursts. But at that point, that judge trafficked my child with her little buddy lawyer. And I got all that. Look, I got all the papers and documents to prove that court paper. And
you and 1,000 others. That's for sure. Yeah. There's thousands. We understand. We know. Okay, we have a group. Yeah. I was somebody else time to speak here. So go ahead.
Okay.
You got a little bit more to say? That's fine.
Okay. Yes. So I go on social media, Facebook. I'm like, hey, Mayor Perkins, Judge Carilla Stewart, trafficked my kid in court. Dismissed my evidence, all this stuff, even though I had proof and facts and all that stuff. And I told him about it, and then he sent the sheriff's department officer to my house. They threatened me with bad publicity. Okay, he looked at all my papers. He acknowledged that hey, these are facts, and there was a legal document that she forced as a judge. He was like, well, sometimes judges make mistakes, but if I ever talked about it, I'd have bad publicity. Anyways, that's all I'll say for now. What do y'all think about that?
Well, it's it's a fight. There's like I said, as you know, all these groups are doing the same fight, and so you're just you're in that fight, and I get it. I don't think you could save the world. I don't think you can save everybody. I just don't think we can. And so, from my standpoint, I still have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that I'm as healthy as I can be, and also find a few close friends. Make sure you've got close people around you, like a community of people, friends that can help you do things, because you can't do it all on your own.
Yes, since my breaking my ankles and being in a wheelchair and not being able to really walk.
So find
it's kind of hard.
That'd be my advice, because you have all the energy, and I've seen your energy for these years, and I know you were pretty good in the military. I know all that
I
story.
wasn't in the military.
Well, what was it? Why are you associated with why do you got all that on there? Because you study all that? Is that what that was?
I interact with the since I could go online. I mean, if you can go online, you can go to the Special Operations Command, all that stuff, and you're raising with military generations, tradition or whatever. Now I was supposed to go in the military, and I went to ROTC, Army and Air, and I was supposed to go and got an 82 on the Air Force ASVAB when tested, but I came down with complex post-traumatic stress disorder because I got violently beat by police without doing anything.
Anyway, and then
but I talked to all of them.
So your
contractors, whatever, because I can't.
So your family was in the military, I know, deeply, yeah.
We believe
so at any rate, we really do appreciate it. And if there's anything, if somebody else wants to give him, something, we put him in the back of the studio, talk to him. If you want to listen, Jack, that would be great. You can certainly stay in and listen. So does anybody, Teresa, maybe?
Okay, I'm going to say it again. David Lester Straight, he talks about how, that truth and facts do not matter in court. And then he shows how you can get your children back in court, and that's what I recommend, Out of Babylon. So that's what I would do. And then, and just remember too, in politics, we're being played. a lot of the stuff that you see that's going on may not even be happening. A lot of people that we're dealing with have died or are in protective custody because they're wearing either masks, there's body doubles. Things are not the way we think that they are. You know, we're just being played. It's a big, big show. So,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 100 years of Illuminati,
right.
and Freemasonry and all the rest of it. But anyway,
Those
we're stuck. We're stuck, but we're exiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be aware, you know, that what you see isn't always what you get. You know,
we're going to give it a shot.
What we're watching is not really, you know, those masks that they have now are so real that you could be like right up next to the mask and the person's talking and you think it's the real person. So, well, we're just being played.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But that's, you know, why I don't watch a whole lot of that stuff. Or I don't even follow the types of groups anymore that are the Q or anything like that, because I already know all this stuff. It all stemmed from decades ago, and there's no reason for me to rehash it. I do listen to No Agenda Show once or twice a week and get my mainstream cuts from there, which are actual cuts of these so-called leaders from around the world making their, you know, their statements about us sheeple, or, you know, the sheeple. And so they make their statements and then scrutinize, you know, that, which I like to do that. I'd like to find somebody that would, you know, take these clips and, you know, have a back and forth and have a conversation after each clip. That's a format that I actually like. And, but, you know, it's difficult altogether to understand what we have to do as a collective, but it is difficult. They've made it's more and more difficult. Look at how it's even hard to get around the country to even get together. You don't. They must be doing that on purpose. Southwest Airlines, targeted airline, and that because they were the airline that, you know, took us all over the place. From what I understand, it's possible they're going under. So
I don't even want to travel because I'm afraid I'll get stuck somewhere.
So I mean, that's they've somehow done that on purpose or something. You know, and so I think they're making it more and more difficult. It seems like to me, but there's hope, because I think if we can reach out to the right people and we get the right mechanisms in place with the right support, you know, we're going to go. I want to go big. You know, go big. I want to try and change, you know, things and change what's going on in the world. I do care about some politics, you know, but I don't play that game, you know, anymore. But hell, I got to live with it every day. It seems like, you know, it's here. So I have to like listen to it, or somebody says something about a political thing. What's his, you know, some big podcaster just got arrested for child trafficking in Romania, Andrew Tate, you know, for, you know, supposedly some kind of a human sex trafficking or something there. But, you know, but anyway,
all orchestrated.
So we have our own things to do. What's that?
That was all orchestrated, the Tate story. Yeah, you should listen to Sasha Stone. He had the Gorilla News today. It was all orchestrated.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, he's nothing but a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems that the bust of Andrew Tate was a setup job. I had a hard time following the topics from Jack. First thing that he brought up was this topic of communications. Yeah. And so I put this up on screen earlier. This is the above phone. It's from the folks at Freedom Cells and so forth, and might be worth looking at. That's why I put it up there. That's all.
Right. Yeah, there's some again, if we can get to a point and organize this coalition of people, I mean, hell, just everybody will have a good phone and get off a little bit off the grid, I guess. But we have so many ideas, and I just think it's really hard to figure exactly what to do. Gosh, I remember the one meeting we had a couple Sundays ago. It was. I just felt like it was like, oh, maybe we could. Oh, I think it was with Dallas. I was like, because he inspires kind of this. It's like, yeah, just get everybody together, man. We're gonna build our own towns and everything. He's just like, yeah. So I mean, it kind of gives you a little hope when you can see, like, if you can get enough people together that understand that we can't just keep playing this politic game. It's just over. I mean, it's like. It's over, and we're already under this new world order. I mean, ever since March 13th, 2020, in my mind, that's when it kicked into gear. But 2019 was the actual kick-in started to a point where it's even more. Well, it's Chinese style. It's like all this equipment they're putting in and all this stuff, and it just continues to keep going and keep going. And I guess. I would like to change people's minds. I would like to get them to stand up at a grocery store that's making them scan and not, or do something. I don't know. Just everybody needs to do something.
Just avoid those stores.
Well, it's fine, but do something. Tell the manager, do something. I don't know. We just need more people not just following directions anymore. It's time to stop following these directions because, man, they're just coming at us again. The mainstream is like, once again, there's all this virus talk and oh my gosh. And all these, and they're pushing all these stupid stories about how, oh yeah, I should have got the vaccine or stuff. And then they don't talk about the ones that I just heard tonight in real life. A brother and a sister both got sick after it. Even worse than what they ever had been. And so they had complications with that. But the mainstream media, they're just selling the drug. They're selling the vaccines. That's all they're doing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think we forgot a word that has a very powerful meaning in our society that we need to utter a little more frequently. And it has only two letters, N and O.
No, yeah. Got to start standing up for sure. I mean, that's where we talk about.
You can add some juice to it, like go yourself or something like this. But just N-O, that's it. No.
Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't live in these big cities, so I don't know what's going on. I know in New York they're eating frozen rats. I don't know. But
I saw that frozen rat thing.
With dehydrated crickets.
I don't know, but
the crickets, yeah, hidden as a cheetah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
But so ultimately, it's like you always talk about, Arlete, is that the solution really does come down to our individual path, our individual like vibration, so that we can attract, and stay in a fold and also increase that, So I think that's, I think that is really the ultimate goal. Should be for people to, first of all, and Jack that came on, he was, from those court system corruption groups from years ago. And so he has quite a story of that, right? So you can tell how passionate he is about it. But
and he's hurting.
Yeah, he is. He's been hurting for years. And but at the same time, it's like, I guess I'm lucky. I guess, I don't know. I never went through stuff like that. Except for harassment from my brothers, and that's about it. No, because I had 3 older brothers, right? So sometimes I guess they would bully me, I suppose, here and there. But it's like, but the solution, for people in general would be to, and even Laura was saying, and here I am, I'm building what I want to be a good media company and, structured. And she talked about that in her first comments. And of course, that's what we're trying to build, is something that's constructive and consistent and structured, if you want to say it that way. So join us. Media is going to be important in the future, even though there's a ton of these companies out there doing their thing. But a lot of these big YouTubers and stuff, they're bought and paid for. We're finding that out. So they're bought and paid for, and they're not authentic when it comes down to it. That's all there is to it. They can buy followers. You can do a Google search on, and you can just spend money on followers, and you'll get followers. So there's systems out there now that these guys are using. So I was taught that by somebody just kind of told me that one time he left a black screen on a Facebook Live, and he made money that night. He forgot to press play on the video reels. And then he woke up and he says, "Man, I had comments. I had everything. There was no sound or nothing." So it can be. So once you get to a certain point, the AI makes Facebook look good no matter what. See, if they're getting monetization off of that. So it's all about the monetization money. So it could be like, you could just be if you've got over 10,000 followers and you stream a black stream all night, you'll still make money. Anyway. So, I don't know.
And then Jack wrote something about, human rights and everything. Human rights is another organization that is uncontrolled, fully controlled. It's all big mess.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way is just to step out of it.
Yeah. And I think at the end of I might, if it's okay with Michael, play that video and then close out the show when we're all ready to go, and then I'll just play that out live so that everybody can see that video. That was really good. I don't know if anybody saw that, but it's a good informational, just about the propaganda stuff that they did in 1948, and then renewed it, and he documents everything in there. And it's just crazy, and how they're hiring all the CIA agents and FBI agents, and that's stress that Laura's feeling. I'm feeling it too. I am. I'm feeling it. I know they're coming. They're organizing right now. It's just really kind of a weird feeling.
It's just another reason to get rid of the TV at home, and
definitely don't watch TV. Yeah, I mean, hardly at all.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that even people who join us every now and then on our talks still have a TV and still tune in to news and all that on the TV, which is all one big bullshit.
Well, it is, because they're losing their. Michael's like, what?
Not you. I know. I haven't had a TV, as I said before, in 11 years. I threw it out. Even before I knew what I was doing, I threw it out.
Right. I got TVs, but they're used for screens here, and then I'll watch YouTube and stuff on here.
Yeah, watch a movie with my daughter about once a week.
Right.
Yeah.
All those fantastic movies that are out there.
And even in the movies, I totally watch them differently now, because I know that the Hollywood is controlled by the CIA, so it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, so that video talks all about that, and he really does a good job. He did a really good job on that video, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll play that at the exit.
Yeah, we can say goodbye and watch the video. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Michael? You're muted. There you go.
I second that.
I think we've accomplished as much as we can accomplish tonight.
Okay.
I'm getting hungry too.
All right, so I'll go ahead and share screen, and if you want to, before I play this, Orlit, maybe just to say some positive words and for us, would you mind?
Sure.
I love that when you do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are we meeting on Thursday?
I'm sure we're working on something.
Okay. All right. Okay. So because I mentioned it with Laura and everything, why don't we just do that?
Okay.
Just go within, and I think the four of us are up there enough to go straight within and find something that you love about yourself. But for others, if that's challenging for you, like many people are challenged by finding beauty in themselves, then just look around you and find something beautiful to look at. I saw Teresa has a dog, so that's always a good thing to bring, and all of that. So if you can find something beautiful about yourself, then just look around. But find something beautiful and just use all your senses. All your senses: eyes, nose, mouth, ears, touch, to appreciate that. Appreciate that beautiful thing that you're looking at. All aspects of it. And really spend time being in that space, because that starts creating new pathways in our brain, in our mind. Pathways that are not traveled too often because we're so, like Jack, so focused on the negative and on what's happened, instead of where we can take it. Just allow yourself to really be flooded with the emotions and with the sight and the smell and the taste and the sound of that beautiful thing that you're looking at. And just stay with that feeling as long as possible. And what happens when we can do these exercises often enough, what happens is we cultivate that feeling within us, and then we don't even need to look at something beautiful. We can just, with our mind, go there and click. We're there in that space.
Yeah. Very good. And so definitely thank you so much. And last words there, Mr. Michael ManKinder. Anything? Okay. Well, then we're going to watch a video here for the last part, and then I'll close out with the ticker thing. And this is it talks about the Smith-Mund Act of 1948, legislation of propaganda, which, they dug back into this in I think around Clinton and Obama, and made it pretty much legal to lie to us every day. So it's just wonderful. So we'll get into that and hopefully get something out of that. So I love everybody. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Love you.
Okay, I gotta go do something.
Get the sound up. I don't know why all of a sudden his sound's not working. Oh, I know. I got to come in a different way. Let me get him in there.
Play a big role in the types of
everybody
observations that Wolfgang is uncovering with the various school shootings around our country. Up here at occupycorporatism.com, I'll leave a link in the description down below. This article was dated July 22nd, 2013. How the NDAA allows U.S. government to use propaganda against Americans. The U.S. government has unbound legal regulations against using propaganda against foreign audiences and American citizens. The intention is to sway public opinion by using television, radio, newspapers, and social media targeting the American and foreign people in controlled psyops. The newest version of the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, has an amendment added that negates the Smith-Mund Act of 1948, SMA for short, and the Foreign Relations Authorization Act of 1987. These laws made propaganda used to influence foreigners and U.S. citizens illegal. Without these laws, disinformation could run rampant through our information junkets. This amendment added to the NDAA has passed into implementation as of this month. And we're talking July of 2013, and it was repealed on July 2nd. Now I want you to think about that. July 2nd, 2013, the Smith-Mudd Act of 1948 was repealed. This is just about 6 months after the Sandy Hook shooting. The SMA defines the prohibition of domestic access to any mode of message to control how we perceive our world. This is all about the power structure authoring the perceptions that you hold in your head. And this is very important because it is our perceptions that guide our behavior. If you control somebody's perception, the byproduct is you control that person's behavior. As of now, the level of propaganda in mainstream media is quite high. With all of our television, printed media, and internet sites associated with the MSN owned only by 5 corporations. Without these laws, the lies purveyed truth to foreigners would find their way to our doorsteps as a purposeful operation enacted by our government. And in the name of national security, the U.S. could and probably would disseminate misinformation to gain public support for otherwise decidedly deplorable operations. Now, this next line's really interesting. Amendment 114 of the NDAA was approved by the House in May of 2012. So 6 or 7 months before the Sandy Hook shooting, this amendment to repeal the Smith-Mudd Act, among other things, was approved by the House. And it was about a year later, in July of 2013, that it became official. So let's take a look at the actual verbiage that was in the Smith-Mudd Modernization Act of 2012. Or excuse me, this is the new verbiage. Section 501A. The Secretary and the Broadcasting Board of Governors are authorized to use funds appropriated or otherwise made available for public diplomacy information programs to provide for the preparation, dissemination, and use of information intended for foreign audiences abroad about the United States, its people, and its policies through the press, publications, radio, motion pictures, the internet, and other information media, including social media, and through information centers, instructors, and other direct or indirect means of communication. That's blanket. That's a blanket coverage. They are allowed to lie to whoever they want through whatever means they want for whatever purpose. Paragraph B, subsection 1, except as provided in paragraph 2, which I don't see listed in this article, the Secretary and the Broadcasting Board of Governors may, upon request and reimbursement of the reasonable costs incurred in fulfilling such a request, make available in the United States motion pictures, films, video, audio, and other materials prepared for dissemination abroad or disseminated abroad. According to Michael Hastings, quote, the new law would give sweeping powers to the State Department and Pentagon to push television, radio, newspaper, and social media onto the U.S. public. Quote, it removes the protection for Americans, says Pentagon official who is concerned about the law. It removes oversight from the people who want to put out this information. There's no checks and balances. No one knows if the information is accurate, partially accurate, or entirely false. Representatives Mac Thornberry, Republican of Texas, and Adam Smith, Democrat, Washington, in the Smith Modernization Act of 2012, House Resolution 5736, advocate that it's time to liberate the authority of the U.S. government to broadcast American-produced foreign propaganda in the U.S. Wow, if either of these two are your representatives, they deserve an earful. The amendment, which was hidden within the NDAA, has remained relatively unnoticed. However, it empowers the State Department and Pentagon to utilize all forms of media against the American public for the sake of coercing U.S. citizens to believe whatever version of the truth the U.S. government wants them to believe. All oversight is removed by Amendment 114. That's important. All oversight is removed by Amendment 114. Regardless of whether the information disseminated is truthful, partially truthful, or completely false, bears no weight. Bears no weight. How off the deep end is this, guys? Thornberry believes that with the use of the internet by terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda, the federal government needs to have freedom to circulate their own propaganda to combat terrorism effectively. Well, I'm sure most of the lunacy family has dug into the World Trade Center 9/11 attacks and has come across the information that Al-Qaeda appears to have been started by the CIA itself. This is how lies beget lies, and the trail paved to taking away our freedoms is entirely based upon us believing lies. And now they have told you in writing, in Amendment 114 of the NDAA of 2012, that they're going to lie to you anyway, anyhow, tell you whatever they want through any means. Quote, I just don't want to see something this significant, whatever the pros and cons, go through without anyone noticing, says one source on the Hill, who is disturbed by the law. According to this source, the law would allow, quote, U.S. propaganda intended to influence foreign audiences to be used on the domestic population. $4 billion per year is spent by the Pentagon on propaganda aimed at the American public. Wow. I wonder what Hollywood's budget per year is collectively, as well as the $202 million spent by the Department of Defense on misinformation operations in Iraq and Afghanistan in 2011. Currently, the Pentagon is using sock puppet or fake accounts on social media sites to purvey false information, harass users, and enact psyops to influence Americans. A California corporation is working with the U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, in spreading propaganda overseas. They provide online persona management service that allows active duty military to set up an estimated 10 different false identities that are used worldwide. Each of these fake personas comes complete with a background history and safeties to prevent, quote, sophisticated adversaries, end quote, from discovering the lie. CENTCOM spokesman Commander Bill Speaks said, that's a funny name for a spokesman, huh? last name is Speaks. We see so many plays on people's names versus their positions. He says, quote, "The technology supports classified blogging activities on foreign language websites to enable CENTCOM to counter violent, extremist, and enemy propaganda outside the U.S. Sophisticated software allows the military to engage in online conversations with coordinated answers, blog comments, and instant messaging remarks that are solely meant to spread pro-American propaganda." And you know what? I take exception how they say pro-American here, because what it's really saying is pro-United States, United States being in all caps, i.e. the corporation of the United States. It's pro-United States propaganda, pro-corporation propaganda. America refers to the men and women who reside within the geographic boundaries known as the continental United States. American is different than United States, the corporation. U.S. Army whistleblower Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis believes there is a definitive aspiration within the U.S. government to, quote, "enable public affairs officers to influence American public opinion when they deem it necessary to, quote, protect a key friendly center of gravity, to wit, U.S. national will." So this protect a key friendly center of gravity, that center of gravity is a common shared perception that all of this propaganda is authoring inside the target's psyches. Edwin Bernays would be proud. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Edward Bernays, let me pop up another page here. He is often referred to as the father of propaganda. So everything that we're seeing here today with all of this obviously fake news coming out of our mainstream media, it all had its start, at least on paper, with Edwin Bernays. And so 6 years ago, the U.S. government put in writing legislation that says that they're going to lie to you about anything through any informational conduit or channel that they want. And there are no checks and balances to determine whether or not this information is completely accurate, partly accurate, or a complete lie. Now, when the waters of truth and rational discourse are muddied by so many lies, the only way to find the truth is to investigate the claims and make the underlying core observations that these claims are about. And there's just no way to do that with the news the way it's reported now. That's what Wolfgang Halbig's been running into. They've made a lot of claims about every aspect of the Sandy Hook shooting. And the observations that a man like Wolfgang Halbig can make, and that just about any of us can listen to him and go make those observations ourselves, they fly in the face of the official narrative. Now, we really can't say exactly what happened at Sandy Hook, but we can say what didn't happen. And there's a lot of things that didn't happen that should have happened according to normal operating procedures. The normal operating procedures, the standard protocols for how to respond to active shooters, all the way up through whether or not we're going to release public documents like death records, or even the FBI's own statistics for homicide for the year of 2012 for Newton, Connecticut shows 0 homicides. How does that happen? We're left with a mess to pick through.
All right.
And I really
I
feel
think we're about done. So yeah, it's about done. So he's on his fear horse again, I guess, and but analytical commentary like this is easy to find everywhere. I get it. But I thought the document itself was worth people's educating, to educate them on the document so they could do their own research. But any final thoughts? Anybody?
Unfortunately, many people will call this conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But, that's...
But they can research the documents themselves, so it's amazing how people just gloss over it. Yeah, we get, it's probably, I know it's true information, not probably.
It's part of the brainwashing, or if you're not following Sasha Stone, I highly recommend. He had the Gorilla Network news today. And one of the guests said, actually, we're all K-Ultra, right? Mind washed, because all it takes is that box that talks to you to do that. And most of our population are glued to that box. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't always require torture and all those things to have your mind controlled.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about that network sometime, but yeah, for sure. Start sending me. You may have before, but if you think about it, please send me a link, please.
Okay, I'll post it today. The talk from today was really, I enjoyed it.
Okay, very good.
And I've seen all those people before because I've been following Sasha for a while now. So yeah.
Right on.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But that's why it makes me giggle, because it's so clear. And then there are people who don't see it. And it just makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
All we can do is laugh now. Yeah, I got it.
At least we got that, right?
At least we still got that. We still got our smiles left.
Yeah. You want to say hi here? He wants to say hi. Oh.
Good night there, young man or woman, doggy you are.
He's a man.
Okay.
Pray.
Oh, look at him.
Yes, good boy.
All right, everybody. Well, good night and love you all.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, Michael.
We're being abused by government, and we need to stand up and fight for our freedoms, because it's all based on lies, what they're doing.
Before I begin narrating, please note that for purposes of adhering to this platform's terms of use and guidelines, the term crown illness will be used when referring to the 2020 pandemic outbreak. The abstract that I'm about to narrate with you came from a screenshot that someone made before the paper was removed. Before proceeding with what I'm about to narrate, I initiated a back-end search via the U.S. Library of Medicine National Institutes of Health, their database. I searched the PMID number 32668870. The search result took me directly to the page with the paper's title, quote, 5G technology and induction of crown illness in skin cells, unquote. Directly underneath the title of the article that they removed is a message that states, quote, ahead of print, article withdrawn by publisher, unquote. This is the abstract. July 16th, 2020. PMID 32668870.